Live 24/7 travelled to Christchurch Preparatory School and College to find out more about these children who are ministering the Word of God. When you think of Christian education, what comes to mind? Daily devotions, Christian-influenced lessons, or even teachers who are Christians. This is exactly what Christchurch School in Midrand set out to do.
Christchurch Schools started 15 years ago. We started with a grade 0 class and we grew one class every year. We had our first matriculants 4 years ago. We have got just over 600 children in the school, and we're obviously situated in the Midrand area.
The children are exposed to Bible studies once a week. School starts with devotions every morning. Each registered teacher does devotions with the children. We've got assemblies every Monday morning, and different teachers talk about Christian life and Christian principles, and they encourage children to live out their lives.
Even though Christchurch is a Christian school, it doesn't mean that all the kids attending are reborn Christians, but they try to encourage Christian essence in all their subjects, sowing seeds into young people's lives and impacting their worldviews through God's love.
The curriculum we follow is the state curriculum. However, our teachers who are Christians are encouraged to integrate Christ into their curriculum. So it's the same curriculum, but certain subjects really lend themselves to that more than other subjects. So when you've got English literature, you've got all sorts of interesting questions that can be posed. And we don't deal with any other literature. We still deal with the normal literature. It doesn't have to be Christian literature, but we just say. So if there were situations where a Christian would possibly find something offensive, we've still got to deal with that, and we do deal with it, and we give our children skills, and we get them to ask questions, why the author would have put things in books.
When compared to other schools, having daily devotions and making time for God in their curriculum may seem like Christchurch School already goes the extra mile, but their dream is to go even further by teaching their kids not only to hear about God's grace, but to also share it with others through their outreach program.
So as a school, we realized that we were really blessed. And yet we've got communities around us who have very little. And we thought, we've got to say, how can we help our communities?
Our outreach at the school is all about action. We've got an outreach club called Handy Footprints, and the learners get involved, and it's all voluntary, and we really encourage the learners to be the hands and the feet of Jesus.
This year they've gone into the DRC, they've gone into Mozambique, they've gone into Zimbabwe, and they've gone either as English teachers or they've really just gone to be workers and then to share the gospel. Those are the ones outside our borders. The local ones, we partner with a school in Tembisa. One of our grades goes and does literacy with them every week. Our children there's a township close to us, and there are children there who go and do street evangelism.
We look for anything in which we can get the children involved so they get to know the poor, they get to know the lost, they sit with them, they paint the faces of the little ones, they share the gospel, they share stories, we go on mission trips. So we get to choose outreaches that involve our children.
One of these outreaches took place in Westbury, close to Johannesburg, where a few of the learners joined forces with 836 Ministry to evangelize on the streets of this community by sharing their testimonies, handing out booklets, and talking to people about the Lord.
The purpose of this outreach is for our children to get involved with evangelism here in Westbury. We're joining some evangelists, and they're reaching out to this community, and they're basically proclaiming the gospel. So we want our children to be part of this, to be able to grow in learning to share the gospel.
Being exposed to these kinds of outreaches doesn't only help those in need, but also changes the lives of the students who are involved.
Outreach with the school, through the school, has brought my Christian walk. It's made it more impactful to others, to myself. It's made it more practical. I've gotten the theory sort of thing, my foundations at home, with my church, with my family. But through the school and through being involved actively with the school, it's made much more of an impact in me, and it's much deeper, it's more practical, it's more building relationships with people and reaching out to them.
Every year since 2009, I've been going to Mozambique on mission trips with the church at the school, and it's just a way for us to go out and minister to people in Mozambique, but also build relationships with them. And it's surprising to find that even though we're going there to teach them something, they teach us so much more by the way they live and stuff. So it's a win-win for both parties. That's a lot of what I've gotten from the outreach I've done, not only in Mozambique, but also here around South Africa.
Christ Church School is truly an example of how involving God in the upbringing of children can result in a chain reaction of His love in generations to come.
I would like to see the future of outreach in this school as being one of the key things in our school. So when a parent looks for a school for their child, they're going to say, hold on, I want to take them to Christ Church, because Christ Church children look out. These are children who are going to be able to change our society for the better.
For me, the reward comes in challenging the children to get out, in challenging the children to realize that they can make a difference, that they can trade a very natural me-centeredness when they're teenagers to you can actually make a difference and be a testimony for Jesus.
Going to school every day has had like an emphasis on the values that I have in my life today. Like really, our core values are like student leadership and stewardship and Christ likeness. So having that in my life every day has sort of like given me a great foundation to the person that I am today and the values that I have today.
Wow, talk about changing lives, eh?